Pandemic is slowly slipping into history, and increased mobility is lifting the spirits of airlines. Most of them have turned the corner and are reporting profit now. And buoyed by the growing base of flyers, airlines have gone on a shopping spree too. There is a long queue before the airline supermarket. Air India is in the line with an order of 470 aircraft from Boeing and Airbus. It is likely to cost $70 billion to its new owner, the mighty Tata Group. The airline currently has 140 aircraft. Indigo also looks no less ambitious, with a shopping list of 500 planes. Go First wants 72 aircraft in its cart. Akasa Air is in line to get 56 aircraft, and Vistara wants to buy 17 planes. So with more than 1,100 new aircraft flying into Indian hangars soon, the country certainly needs more trained pilots. The training is extensive and takes anywhere between 22 and 27 months.
So it starts off in the flying school with learning basic theory of flight and elementary flying skills. Over a period of about 16 to 18 months, you will graduate with what's called a commercial pilot's license, or a CPL. Then you go to the next step, you get a type rating on a certain type of aircraft. And then you begin what's called the line training, and that is typically an on-the-job training that an airline puts you through on their specific, not only the aircraft that they fly, but the company procedures, and that takes about 6 to 9 months to complete.
But do we have the required infrastructure to train pilots to meet this demand?
No. Aircraft training is done on simulators. And simulators are almost as expensive as aircraft. In India, we would have roughly around 10 320 simulators, which are still not enough to meet the present requirement. Today, someone wants to become a pilot. For his CPL, he's going abroad. Because Australia, parts of America, have maximum number of good flying days. In India, you don't have many good flying days. Today, there are people who are charging 1 crore plus for a pilot to get a CPL and a type rating. So, who can afford that?
Indian Airlines have long been dogged by the shortage of crew members and pilots. According to a report by news agency PTI, 2 pilot unions at Air India have recently said that there was a shortage of pilots to operate the airline's long-haul and ultra-long-haul flights. The union also reportedly questioned the airline's decision to hire more expat pilots at a higher package. Meanwhile, Air India said last week that it plans to hire 900 pilots and over 4,200 cabin crew this year. Other airlines too are no different. They need more trained pilots to expand business. According to reports, Air India has about 1,600 pilots, and it will need over 6,500 pilots to operate 470 aircraft it has ordered. But the number of new licenses issued every year to trained pilots has been below the 1,000 mark. Ministry of Civil Aviation data says that a total 744 commercial pilot licenses were issued in 2019. It came down to 578 in the year 2020. The number increased to 862 in the year 2021. Until December 6, 2022, 1,081 CPLs were issued by the DGCA. A pilot's training costs up to a whopping 50 lakh rupees before he or she applies for the CPL. And according to reports, India has close to 10,000 pilots operating commercial planes right now. And a senior pilot recently told a national daily that on an average, about 200 pilots have been retiring every year. Pilots have been feeling the pressure of crew shortage and fatigue levels are rising. Industry insiders say they are aware of the situation and steps are already being taken.
The Airports Authority of India has already approved setting up 9 more flying schools over and above the 34 that are already approved by the DGCA in the last 1 year itself. And then in the next phase, there are 15 more flying schools coming up in another 10 airports. What it takes is, one, capital investment, of course. The second, very important, is experienced trainers. And then the third is that the regulatory system has to constantly evolve because newer complex operations, newer type of airports, new type of airplanes.
The aviation sector needs to become more financially viable, not just for future pilots, but also for other crew roles.
So each airline will have to set up its own training establishments. The department, the director in DGCA looking after this doesn't have the skill, doesn't have the manpower. So instructors' approvals are pending for a year. Although they have the facilities themselves here, they've got themselves airports, they've got everything aircraft here, but they can't train because the DGCA is not facilitating. So they're sending people abroad. It's very doable. It has to be fast-tracked. Treat training as a startup. It's not only pilots. A whole lot of people have to be trained. Engineers, cabin crew, ground staff, security staff.
Lumba also points out that there needs to be a fundamental change in the approach to air travel in India.
You don't realize how important aviation is to the mobility of the economy. See, the government has to get out of the mindset that aviation is a luxury. It's being taxed as a luxury. It's not a luxury.
The new purchases by airlines will also include replacement aircrafts for some of its current airplanes. However, experts believe even then the expansion in fleets might lead to a major demand and supply gap if the government and the airlines do not come together to build a more financially viable skill development infrastructure for the aviation sector.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.